Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning into the Holistic A-Hole podcast. My name is Erik Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole, the mommy blogger with balls, the inconvenient truth of health. What is up? How you doing? Hope you're doing good, and I really mean that. I really hope you're doing good because life is short, man. There's too many haters out there. There's too much heat on them streets, so you got to sometimes fall back on yourself and just feel good for the heck of feeling good. That's what I'm talking about. Get that good amino acid, protein, tryptophan. Get that shit in your small intestine. Convert it to serotonin. Send it up the vagus nerve. Let it bust through the blood-brain barrier and give you all kinds of nice, happy chemicals. For what? For what? Nothing. Because that's how the Holistic A-Holes roll. Yes, indeed, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this latest episode here, where today we're going to talk about the nervous system. Holy cow, the nervous system? The nervous system is making me nervous. We're going to talk about how the nervous system and how stress affects basically everything. Basically everything you do. It doesn't matter. We're not going to talk about diet. We're not going to talk about, exercise. We're talking about goddamn stress and the effects that it plays on your body. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, first of all, if you haven't yet subscribed to the podcast, if you made it here and you're a new listener or you're just coming back and you're doing things the old-fashioned way, like in the 1800s, you're going on to your iTunes, your Apple Podcasts, your Spotify, and you're just searching in the search bar for the Holistic A-Hole podcast, and it's just you're coming up with these holistic, weird, meditation podcasts, and it's just lost in the mix, and all you want to hear about is how you can be a better a-hole in your life. Well, guess what? The technology is there. All you got to do is subscribe to the podcast. It's very easy to do. I'm sure there's many tutorials on YouTube to show you how to do it, but I'm going to save you some time and just advise you to hit the subscribe button right there in your player, whatever you're listening to this on, whether it's an iPhone, an Android, a Google phone, a freaking flip phone, a rotary phone, a pay phone, whatever it is, just hit the subscribe button, and then that way the podcast will pop up for you every time it comes out, a couple times a week, and then shoot on over to Facebook. Join the Holistic A-Holes Facebook group. It's the hottest Facebook group on Facebook, and or you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, all at Holistic A-Hole, and we continue the conversation off the podcast. Cool. So why do I want to talk about this today? Stress. Because I heard a very interesting quote on another podcast earlier this week, and it actually started moving the creative juices in my brain, and I wanted to talk about it. And it was maybe one of the best quotes I've heard on any podcast on the old interwebs, and it was this. It was you can't run from a lion and have a boner at the same time. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple, yet so incredibly complex. You can't run from a lion and have a boner at the same time, no matter how hard you try. By the way, I know some of you a-holes are probably putting this to the test. You're like, can I get a boner, go get on a plane, fly to Africa, go out to the jungle, look for a lion, provocate the lion, maybe wear some kind of chicken suit or something, do some wild yells, chirps, whatever it is, get his attention, and then start running for your life, look down, and see if you still got a boner. This obviously is, I'm talking about the dudes. Ladies, I don't know how that whole process works for you, or if it somehow does, hey, good for you. That's what I want to say. Don't let anybody hold you down. If you can pull this off, ladies, hey, more power to you. But this is just the example, okay? Because ladies, you have your own set of issues that you deal with, okay? The point is that we're talking about your nervous system, right? Your central nervous system controls the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. Your fight or flight, right? your rest and digest. You've heard me say this before, probably a million times, even though there's just barely over 100 podcasts. I have said this over a million times because it's so true. And it's such a simple concept to just put in your brain and to let guide you through your life, through making your body work better. Some of you are maybe chronic dieters. Maybe you're overweight, you're obese. Maybe you're just like right there on the cusp of being shredded and not being shredded. Maybe you just want to get rid of, a couple pounds of just stubborn weight. Maybe you just want to feel better. You just want to sleep better. Maybe you got skin problems. Maybe your hair is falling out. Maybe, you sweat a lot, or you smell terrible, or you got all these issues going on. Maybe you're constipated. This is a big one, right? And you can't figure it out. You've taken every piece of dietary advice that's out there. You've added the fiber. You've added the fruits and vegetables. You're supplementing like a gangster. You're eating clean meats. You've gone vegan, vegetarian, paleo, keto, carnivore, and you just can't figure out what is holding you back, right? And then you take a look in the mirror and you're just angry. You're angry because you've been trying so hard to make this work. All you want to do is just elevate your health to the next level because you hear of this mythical place that all of these health gurus talk about of feeling great all the time, waking up with energy, not needing to drink coffee to get up in the morning or to keep you going between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You hear about people who can quit smoking cold turkey. You hear about people who are, able to have kids, without, what is that stuff? Like the neonatal pre-pregnancy pills and all that stuff. You just hear about these people who have great health. And what you've decided was that after all of these years of trying and dieting and having successes and having failures, taking 1 step forward, going 2 steps back, you just resigned that maybe optimal health is not for me. Maybe it's just not going to work. But the one place you haven't looked was you have not assessed your stress situation. Because, I don't know if you know this, heart disease is the number 1 killer of Americans. Do you know what the number 1 cause of heart disease is? Despite what the vegan propaganda will tell you, no, it's not saturated fats, nor is it lack of saturated fats. It's simply stress. That's it. It's stress. And that's kind of a big, umbrella phrase. A lot of things can be stressful. A lot of moments in life can add stress. Not to mention, there's actually good stress. But let's focus on the bad stress for a minute. It's a goddamn killer, and it's not just like a psychological thing. It's a physiological thing. It's happening in your body. When you start stressing about whatever, it's so easy to stress nowadays, isn't it? It's so easy. It could be anything from something as dire as losing your job or losing a loved one. Or, here in New York City, it's shooting through everybody's veins who has ever missed the subway or sitting on a stalled train or sitting in a cab in the middle of traffic late for an appointment. It could be something as simple as just opening up your phone and going on social media and seeing everybody living a better life than you are. All of these things are adding stress to your life, Could be arguments with your loved ones, could be, could be school, could be a million things, right? And every time you have that moment where you feel the stress, it takes a physical toll on your body. And the beautiful thing about the human body is it's amazing that we can withstand so much stress, isn't it? Isn't it crazy how much stress that we can actually tolerate would kill lesser beings? It has killed lesser beings, But yet the diet industry is I would probably venture to say at this point now, $100 billion industry. The supplement industry itself is almost a $40 billion industry. We're not even factoring in all the money that goes into gyms, that goes into health food, that goes into, fucking Tybo and Insanity and P90X and all this stuff. I mean, you put all this stuff together, you're probably looking at close to $100 billion. And not one person is telling you to just don't stress. That's all you got to do. Now, in the last, probably 10 years, meditation has been taken off. Crazy, Even yours truly. 10 years ago, I was not meditating. I was a stressed out, wrecked, chronically fatigued, hot piece of garbage, But now, it's like, this is a thing I do every single day. Every single day. Granted, there are some days I don't because sometimes I don't have time. And that's the old saying is if you don't have time to meditate, then you are, I don't know the exact wording of this, but it's basically, if you don't have time to meditate, then, you're not living right. Because all you need is 20 minutes. If you can't find 20 minutes or 10 minutes or even 5 minutes just to sit there and just center your mind on a point in your brain and just try not to think for 5 minutes, it makes a world of difference, okay? So when you stress, the physical toll it takes on your body is it actually affects your blood vessels, your capillaries. You get more constriction of the blood capillaries. Here's the thing people talk about heart disease, right? You're blocking, is it a blood vessel or a capillary or a vein or one of these pathways that blood shoots down. And, when you stress, it constricts those pathways. So this is where you start getting people having strokes, having high blood pressure, having, diabetes, having all of these ailments that just so happen to be the top killers of people in this country. And I say this country because in America, we have an insane amount of stress. Do we not? Do we not? That's why traveling around the world or traveling internationally is so amazing, because you go to these other places and they don't have nearly the amount of stress that we have. Granted, they also don't have nearly the amount of technology and the amount of 21st century amenities that we have in life. But at the same time, if you were to just, take a baseline, quantified measurement of how happy people are, you would probably find that people with less of this technology are probably happier than we are here in America, because we have fucking everything. We got the cell phones, we got the iPads, we got the social mediums, we got the air conditioning, we got the cars, we got we got it all. We got the Roombas, we got it all. We got the laptops, but yet we're still miserable. How is the antidepressant industry so powerful? How is the opioid industry so powerful when we have everything you could possibly imagine at our beck and call here in America? But then you go to other countries and they don't have maybe half the stuff we have, yet people are smiling, people are happy, people are just sitting on their patios, just talking, drinking a coffee and talking, or drinking a water and talking, and they're not looking at their phones, they're not, talking about some celebrity gossip, they're just talking about things that are happening in the neighborhood, So stress is just epic in this country. And so essentially what we don't realize, or what a lot of people don't realize, is that it's totally controllable. You can totally have control over this, And the problem with stress as it relates to diet is that no matter what diet you do, it could be the most clean, raw vegan, which, by the way, is not a very good diet, is what I'm coming to realize. But let's say it is. Let's say that's the pinnacle of dieting, right? Where your whole diet is just eating, fresh, seasonal, organic, fruits and vegetables, no oils, nothing, toxic or rancid is going in your body. Very, very easy to digest. Doesn't matter. If you're stressed out, you physically cannot digest. You actually physically cannot produce the digestive enzymes. You cannot produce the hydrochloric acid. You cannot produce all of the chemical reactions that go on in your body that make your body able to actually process the food. So not only can you not digest, you can't absorb any of the nutrients, right? So everybody is hot on vitamin C, right? Got to get your vitamin C. Well, guess what? If you're stressed out and eating an orange, you're not going to get that vitamin C. You're not going to get the magnesium. You're not going to get the fiber. You're not going to get any of that shit. You're going to get diarrhea. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get diarrhea, you're going to get high blood pressure, and you're going to have to get on high blood pressure medication because you don't have the ability to even heal it yourself when all you need to really maybe do is just sit down and meditate for a few minutes, The easiest way to lose weight, if you want to lose weight, this is the easiest way to do it. Doesn't matter what your diet is. Doesn't matter what your metabolism is. Doesn't matter what your genetics is. Get yourself in a parasympathetic state of mind for as much of the day as you possibly can. That means sit down, meditate. Before you eat, take a breath. Be grateful. Have a gratitude journal, This is what a lot of successful people have now. I listen to a lot of successful people speak, and they all talk about gratitude. They all talk about the gratitude journal. I have a gratitude journal. You just sit down first thing in the morning, write 5 things you're grateful for. And you don't have to think about this. You don't have to overthink it. Just say, what are you grateful for? I'm grateful to have woken up this morning. I'm grateful that I have a job, that I can pay my bills. You can be grateful for bad stuff. I'm grateful that I didn't make the basketball team in 9th grade because then I got to meet all the friends who became lifelong friends. You see where I'm going with this? It doesn't matter where you're at in life. You can always be grateful for stuff. You can always find your way into a parasympathetic state of mind. And when you're in a parasympathetic state of mind, doesn't matter how overweight you are. It's going to be like taking a hair dryer to your body, and the fat will start melting off because part of stress, part of being in a sympathetic state of mind, again, this is fight or flight. What happens is your body's ancient mechanisms know and are programmed to essentially take nutrients from your body and put them to places stored as fat where traditionally, I'm talking about ancient man, this mechanism put fat in places like, around your kidneys, around your neck, around just the most unsightly fat you can have. The sides, when we got those hips, right? We got those flabby hips. You got that, kind of beer belly, right? That's your body essentially trying to protect your body from the coming famine. It's protecting your body from the coming danger that you're essentially telling it is coming. When you sit there and you open up your Facebook and you see, when you see like a 90 comment thread about fucking Trump, or what else do people stress about? Sports, comic book movies, whatever it is. When you see those threads, you all of a sudden you're triggered, right? And it's not just like emotionally triggered. Snowflakes. Your body's actually triggered. Your body's like, oh man, we're being left out. Our sense of security is at risk. Quick, take all of the nutrients, take the carbohydrates, convert them into fat, put them there on the fat ass, put them there on your gut, make man boobs, put them under your chin. You have a disgusting little turkey gullet now. You have those nasty little flabby arms. It's because your body doesn't know what to do. It's preparing itself for, a long winter of not eating, or it's preparing itself to have to fight. The biggest thing where this comes in is with your adrenal fatigue, which is interesting because now we call it chronic fatigue. Because this is, I think, like probably a pharmaceutical thing, because they don't really want you to know what your adrenals are. They don't want you to know that this is a thing that's totally correctable and totally controllable. When I talk to people about adrenal fatigue, people have no idea what I'm talking about. People, know nothing about where, like adrenaline comes from, or technically epinephrine, norepinephrine. It comes from your adrenal glands, okay? Your adrenal glands make adrenaline. Your adrenals, by the way, are like little cashew-shaped glands. They're not very big. They sit on top of your kidneys towards your back, okay? Kind of like, where? Like just below your, just kind of like mid to lower back, right? And that's where all your energy comes from, pretty much. That's where, like when you wake up in the morning, that's what wakes you up. Your cortisol that's produced in your adrenals. What else does cortisol do? Cortisol is the stress hormone. So when you start stressing, your brain tells your adrenals, hey, we got to run from a goddamn lion right now. So start pumping some freaking adrenaline and get ready to go, buddy. Oh no time for a boner. Okay. Oh, this was the whole point of the podcast, because these two systems don't work at the same time. They're binary. They don't cross over. You're either in a state of fight or flight, or you're in a state of rest and digest. If you're in rest and digest, this is where you can eat. The food just goes in your body. Your body, like your esophagus, calmly ushers it into your stomach. Your stomach starts releasing the hydrochloric acid, starts breaking everything down. And then once it's, on its way out of the stomach, it starts getting just doused with all these pancreatic enzymes and cholecystokinin and secretin. And it's, the temperature is getting changed. Then it's moving into your digestion. And then once again, sitting in your small intestines, assuming it's at the right temperature and everything's, at the right mode, then everything, all the nutrients, all the minerals, all the vitamins are getting sucked out through your small intestines in your bloodstream. And this is where you start getting your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your vitamin A, your B vitamins, your magnesium, your zinc, your iron. I mean, all the shit that you need to stay alive. It's all happening, but it cannot happen if your body is thinking that, oh my God, can you believe that Trump supports, can you believe that Trump is against the opioid crisis in this country? Can you believe he's against the opioid crisis? Can you believe Trump grabs pussies? Oh God. And then guess what happens? You start farting, you start burping, and then you got to run to the bathroom because you got diarrhea, buddy. Because your digestion is like, get this motherfucking shit. Get it out of me now. Emergency. Red alert. Go. And dog, you are running to the goddamn bathroom. Also, when you're in this constant stressed out. Oh, let me go back to the adrenals. So when your adrenals are just pumping out cortisol, believe it or not, you have a limited amount that you can pump out at a time, and if you're just constantly pumping out cortisol, eventually you're going to run out. And when you run out of cortisol, now you can't react. Now this is where you get those times where you wake up and you're still tired. You wake up after 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep and you're still freaking tired, right? But then at nighttime, you can't get to sleep because your circadian rhythm now is off. And so for some reason, your adrenals start pumping out what little cortisol there is left, and you get this thing they call wired and tired, where it's like you're tired in the morning, but you're wired at night. That's totally ass backwards. You're supposed to be tired at night, wired in the morning. Okay. By the way, the cortisol pumps in the morning because, again, that's another like Paleolithic thing, right? That's like another caveman thing. Caveman had to learn to wake up between, like 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning so that he can get up and start running from the lions who are going to eat him. Because the lions can now see him. They couldn't see him at night. Now they can see him. They're like, look at that motherfucker sitting there in his cave, making cave drawings of other cavemen. He's drawing lions in the cave. You call that a goddamn lion? It's like a square with a couple dots in the middle. I don't have a cute little nose like that. I'm an angry, mean lion. So I'm going to eat that motherfucker for insulting the way I look in his pictures. Now you got the lion stressed out. So your stress is stressing out the lion. Either way, shit is going down. And that's what your body's doing even still today in 2018. So my point with all this is that you got to learn how to handle your stress, especially if you're trying to get healthy, especially if you're trying to lose weight, or you're trying to get over, you're trying to get more energy, and you're sucking down like 6 coffees a day or something crazy, right? Or even like 3 coffees a day, even 2 coffees to me is excessive. I've been in that 2-3 coffee state. It's a hard life, man. And I hate to say it, but at some point you have to decide, do you want to live or do you want to die? Because the stress will kill you at a young age. Doesn't matter, dude. You hear it all the time. People just drop dead, and it shocks people, right? It's shocking. People will have heart attacks. People will get cancer. People will get diabetes. People just start getting all these weird autoimmune diseases where it just cripples their quality of life. Maybe that's you. Maybe you have some kind of degenerative disease that's just stripping calcium from your bones. Maybe you have some lung disorder. Maybe you have asthma. Maybe you've got some insulin resistance, and it's just killing your quality of life. Maybe you wake up in the morning and your adrenal fatigue is so bad, you literally physically can't get out of bed, and you had shit to do that day. Maybe you had really important shit to do that day, and you physically can't move. This is what's happening. You cannot get a boner while running from a lion, because if you're running from the lion constantly and you're like, God damn it, I just want to have sex again, and you're in the bedroom, dudes, and she's playing with your piece like a piece of silly putty, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. It's because you stressed your dick out too much to the point where now it's dysfunctional. And guess what else is dysfunctional? You, son. And it's all because of why? Because you have to have some, 50-hour-a-week office job that you hate, because you have to have Facebook and Instagram on your phone. Granted, if it is on your phone, make sure you check out the Holistic A-Hole. But you're just constantly comparing yourself and keeping up with the Joneses, and it's literally killing you. And you're getting no benefit out of it. At least if you go like do cocaine, or you smoke cigarettes, or you go drink, or even sit down at McDonald's and supersize, a Big Mac meal, at least you're getting some kind of pleasure out of that, are you not? If you're just stressing, you're getting no pleasure out of it. You're increasing your anxiety and depression, and you're physically killing yourself. So at some point, you have to just decide. You have to just make a hard decision. What's more important, making a car payment, or fucking living till 90, 100 years old in a very peaceful, enjoyable state of mind? So that's really kind of where I stand on it. It's pretty, like I said, simple, but yet complex. I'm gonna cut this podcast here, but really, we could talk about this for another couple hours because there's so many parts to it. It's the digestion, it's the adrenal glands, it's immunity, it's autoimmunity, it's disease, it's hydration, it's mineral deficiencies, it's vitamin deficiencies. It's all of this stuff that goes into it, and it's so simple. It's so simple. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? People would rather go to the pharmacy and have hundreds of dollars of prescriptions every single month. Or they could just sit down for 10 minutes or 20 minutes once or twice a day and just fucking think about nothing. Just listen to the breeze outside. Listen to the people on your street, Just think about nothing in your brain. And miraculously, all of your problems start to kind of go away because they're not problems anymore. If you're not stressed out, what were problems? They're just things in your life. They're no big deal. You just deal with them. You manage them. And for a lot of people who do this, man, a lot of people who go down the meditation route or have some kind of stress management end up becoming very successful people. One thing I noticed was when I wanted to get really into meditation, I looked into transcendental meditation. Just so happens, good Lord, that is a star-studded bunch of alumni, right there. I mean, off the top of my head, Seinfeld, Howard Stern, I mean, all these professional athletes, all these famous actors and actresses, all these, politicians, but, successful people. And all you got to do is just train yourself to sit down for a while and just not think. You don't got to go to the pharmacy, sit in traffic, and go pick up your prescription and put your debit card on the machine and lose money every single month. You just got to sit down and meditate. And even better, there are so many free meditation guiding tracks and programs that you can just pull up on YouTube or on the internet and on podcasts, or you can get a subscription to one of these services for like $5 a month. Oh, see, now I'm stressing about how easy it is to not be stressed out. So if you love yourself, if you love the people around you, if you want to choose life over death, get rid of your stress. It's really that simple. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If you're a stressed out person and you have thoughts on this, or even if you are a former stressed out person and you've overcome this, I would love to know what you think. So make sure you go on to Twitter, shoot me a tweet about this at Holistic A-Hole, or take a screenshot of the podcast playing in your player and put it on your Instagram story at Holistic A-Hole. But most importantly, go onto the old Facebook where all the good, stressful conversations are going on, bypass your feed, and go to the Holistic A-Holes Facebook group, join up, and share your thoughts about these topics there in the group. So easy to do. Here's what I'm doing. I'm giving you so many easy, simple, affordable things to help make your life better. Good Lord, and all for free. Thank you guys for listening, and ladies, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If it's your first time here, subscribe, go to iTunes, leave a 5-star review, and share the podcast with people you love, and take a few hours and go on a Holistic A-Hole binge. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.